welcome back. A little bit later start today than usual. Some people running behind. Some people getting absolutely distracted by childhood nostalgia. But we're here. It's our affiliate anniversary as well, which is weird because I did not know this was today. A more prepared person
knew it was today,
would have had something ready for this.
Yeah.
I said the exact same thing for our affiliate, for our stream anniversary.
Our stream. Which, look, I think all of this, what it's doing is preparing us for next year when we'll do a proper celebration
something.
for both. Yeah, look, a proper something. Even just a game session on those days.
Just a something. But, hello, Nate. Hello, Franco. Thank you for the kind
words. How are you lovely
words.
people doing?
Talks about your flight, Nate. That is not very gamer. But, Raf. Calasindia.
Is.
Last, you know what? Just show us. Would you like to recount what happened last time you had, Tuesday when you had a chance to wander around the courts of?
You're making me do this, are you?
Yeah, I am.
What happened on Tuesday? Nothing much really. It was just peace and quiet. Can't really say much. Yeah, no, it's done. No, last time on Tuesday. How did it start off? Yeah, so Calasindia, I think I spoke to only really 3 people in the whole session. I spoke to my mother, one of my sisters, and my father. But basically, speaking to Queen Zilzalzana, Calasindia's mother, learning of the full scope of her plan to remove the Inquisition's leadership, and the idea, at least, to put Calasindia at the head of the Inquisition, which was quite the plan. But then both of them coming to terms and basically confronting the fact that at the same time, when the shards are collected, Calasindia is more than likely going to die because the Dying God needs a vessel. It needs a physical form to take that it can be part of, and a Star Elf is the perfect one for that. So a grim bit of news for the two of them. Speaking to his sister, Talwyn, basically extended an offer to study with the Jorhakin at the Archives of Arasana, which she accepted, which was good. And then a bit of discussion there about some the nature of divinity, and then basically talking with his dad for a bit, and then letting him know about the revelation. Well, not the revelation. The whole probably gonna die in a few months, maybe. We love your bloody face as well, Nate.
We do.
Yeah, so very very intense with only, as I said, only 3 people really talk to, but yeah.
So,
did you think I missed anything in that?
No, that's about it. That's about it. You had a lot of people to talk to, and we're only really getting through it, but that's why we have 2 sessions for this. Raf, Calasindia, your time in court is not quite up. You have a bit of time to get through much more of anything else you need to get done. The next day comes too. You have a little bit of time before you should leave the world below. How would you like to start this session? Where would you like to begin?
Oh, that's a very good question. From Calasindia's knowledge, and just from his general idea of everything, how much of a bad idea would it be to probably leave the keep at the moment? And leave, the Crystal Citadel? With the Inquisition going about and, plans in swing.
Let's see if I can rage. Nice. Have fun raging tomorrow. So, it wouldn't be a terrible idea, but it would be a terrible idea to go alone. If you can leave, just leave with somebody.
Right. Okay. And like someone probably influential or important enough to keep people back. Or keep the Inquisition back.
For example, a relic. Hey, Kalmanos. Yes, it's our affiliate anniversary. We didn't know.
Hey, Kalmanos. No, we didn't know. This is completely unrelated. Completely not even linked one little bit.
But at least we have a stream on for it this time.
Yes.
Last time we didn't have a stream.
That was something that will never happen again, hopefully.
You'll be back our second session of the day. Good luck with your second session.
Good luck. Crimson Rocks are redeemed ardens. Oh, Crimson, thank you.
This is not a world building stream, so Crimson, we will do that the next time we're on a world building stream because this is an actual play stream. But we will get your official in-canon character next time we're doing a D&D Academy next week.
Mm-hmm.
You can shoot messages. I believe we have a Discord, a Discord sub server for Varden's Finest. Hey, you deaded me. Yes, it's our 50th anniversary. Thank you. Thank you for stopping in and saying hello.
Great to have you. How are you
We're
doing
definitely,
today?
this was planned. We planned to stream for this.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely. 100% calculated.
100%. But thank you. So, Calicindir, you have people to see, places to be.
Yes.
You can ask people to go with you, but how about...
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things to do, a lot of people to see. Who to see first, though? You know what? I have been meaning to have a conversation. I'm going to try and swing past Saladin, if I can, whilst I'm here.
So, setting up delayed, big rip.
Oof, that sucks. But hey, at least you get to watch us.
Silver linings and whatnot. So you make your way through the Crystal Citadel's courtyard, where you find eagerly and happily sparring your older brother Cal and Saladin.
Cal just sort of just approach, but then, you know, lean back and just watch them. Clearly, just take it in. How does it seem to be going? Does it seem to be like one's clearly better than the other?
Your brother is clearly better.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He has the training. Saladin is very good, mind you, but
yeah,
with a melee weapon, as long as it's not range.
Other Cal is
the other Cal's quite good. I'll say kind of a broken sweat. Saladin kind of looks over you and goes, "Oh, Prince Calicindir, your home is lovely."
Thank you. I hope you're enjoying your stay here.
It's difficult to get used to the old wake-up call, and sun is dearly missed, but I'm enjoying it.
Yes.
It is a new adventure.
Indeed, I heard from Zamani as well that the whole, well, I suppose day and night cycle, what you could call it, is a bit jarring to the senses.
There's a learning curve to it. Yeah, no, that's fuck, it's not easy, but you know what? It's could be worse.
I see you've been making good use of well, the training grounds here.
Yeah, I gotta keep myself out of trouble and tip-top shape, looking good for honestly whoever I get betrothed to.
Well, that is good to say the least. Have you heard
if I get it, of course.
Front?
Pardon?
Have you heard anything on that front, or are you just hoping for the best and keeping in shape while you do it?
Keeping in shape, learning the ways, and I've only been here a few months now, isn't it?
Is other Cal still around, or is he?
No, he'll start wandering off. Yeah.
Oh, he needs that one.
Excuse himself. But no, I was getting to know your sister Val a little bit, and then
getting to know. That's
doing my best.
That's quite the difficult challenge you've taken on board yourself there.
Well, yeah, look, she's recently betrothed to a Relin now, I hear. I was talking, the Queen did come to speak to me about that to explain it was an unfortunate change in circumstances. But there is potential for Taldwin, I think. I've been trying to get to know her, but she's
oh, that should be fun for you. That will be fun.
She's not easy to talk to.
No.
Any tips?
I mean, how much do you like books?
I mean, I can take them or leave them, but I can read.
Well, I mean, in that case, if you can at least hold an educated conversation with her, that's
okay.
One more conversation than you would have otherwise, because, quite frankly, she does not talk to people outside of court.
Okay.
She's like Val, but worse in terms of getting to know. Even harder.
Well, look, I'll do my best. I brought a couple of books with me from the surface, so maybe.
Oh, wonderful. For what it's worth, though, she is very much duty-bound. If Mother sees it as the best fitting match, then she'll go along with it happily. Well, not happily, perhaps. I don't think she does anything happily, but...
Well, look, that's, you know, when it comes to betrothment, who doesn't love to, you know, duty bound? That's, you know, quiet victories.
True. Quiet victories. But I mean, besides that, how have you truly found it here in the Void Below?
Well, the food ran through me for the first few days.
Yes, Mercestiel had the same problem. Let's just put it that way.
Good thing I got her and Kiana separate rooms.
That was funny. That
was a little funny. It was a little funny.
That was very funny.
One of my many revenges.
Yes, I saw Kiana going off to find you, though, so I can't imagine she was too...
No, I got an earful. But,
how was it, though? I mean, it's been a while since the two of you seen each other.
Good. It was very good. Thank you for everything you did in the Emperor of Ghouls hold. Thank you. I'm sorry for your losses as well.
Thank you. I mean, thank you as well. By all accounts, you proved yourself valiant on the field.
Yeah, no, brothers in arms and all that. I think they were quite happy in military service. So I didn't run on ahead though. Learned my mistake from that one last time.
You learned your mistake, and to look at that, you weren't taken prisoner. See?
Look, you know what? If we percentage-wise, my taking prisoner, exactly. Look, no, it's good. The sunlight, as it says, no sunlight, good for the vampirism. Being an undead lord,
and of course, you know, being Darakul now after you were infected, obviously being closer to home on that side of things, absolutely.
No, feeling the really being a sleeper agent here for the Emperor of Ghouls in the Crystal Citadel. It's all part of the plan.
All part of the plan. The one place where the instant you turn, you'll be cut down a few seconds later. Genius.
Exactly that. But no, look, I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss home a bit. I understand why you guys don't let people teleport. This shit's amazing.
And we do have a lot of enemies on top of that. That would
you have at least one or two.
At least one or two. Just the one or two that we do have tend to be one or two very powerful.
I do have a question, historically speaking. They say you're a bit of a historian. The reason you guys settled below. I'm very curious. I've been reading through some of your archives. War with the Jotuns, big issue. The reason you're in the cave is because they don't fit, right?
Is that the publicly given in terms of like the more commonly aware knowledge about why they settled here? Because obviously Cal knows now like the true reason.
The reason why you came below was because it was you were able to survive from the giants. The giants still had dominion over the surface. Which, common reason the giants don't really fit in narrow cavern ways.
Yeah. No, entirely for the most part, it was purely for defensive purposes. You've seen the size, well, I imagine you've seen the size of some giants, but...
I've never seen a Jotun, but I've seen depictions of Jotuns. They're the size of fucking mountains. So.
They are. I mean, I met a half Jotun, unfortunately, up in the north.
Do you believe that there's actually someone who believe... There are a couple people out there who believe Mount Iramin is actually a sleeping Jotun just curled around a fucking volcano?
Really?
Yeah,
a few years back, actually, I say a few years back, before the Sleeping Bloodline, there was a madman on the streets of Serok who was saying that we're all sleeping inside the eye of a giant or something like that. Part of the world. Preposterous. Crazy.
No, but like in the depictions, the Jotuns are like the size of fucking mountains and like literally just nestle in as one of the peaks.
I'm curious, where have you heard that? That is quite the interesting rumor. I mean, I doubt it's true, but otherwise that raises a whole load of other questions.
I'm mostly in Arvergrad. I did a bit of time there for a while. Squired a bit of time. Not too long.
Mount Herman, well, if Mount Herman is indeed a Jotun, then we are in all grave danger. But no, the reason we're here was, well, defensive, as you can imagine. Perfect place to hold off. When the giants held dominion, no better place.
I also heard that your family is not the original ruling family.
Correct, that it goes to House Gorzea.
Could you tell me a little bit about them? I couldn't find much in the text I found.
Of course. They Des, can you insert some relevant knowledge to House Corsair here?
So they were the first speakers and priests of the dying god. They were of the zealous faith, the 1st of the noble houses. For expedience sake, you tell him of the glory of House Corsair and eventually the pox that befell them, and
then of course we can trace our lineage of House Thalcazir through from their line.
Yeah, you guys are like an offshoot, like loyal house, married kind of.
Of course. But they were well, I suppose the cathedral and House Tarabamil are the closest to House Corsair that still exist, in their purpose at the very least.
So what would happen if like you guys went out there and you saw like right, like what you call it, like in a shell,
right? Yes.
And there was like your uncle, was it?
Right. I'm curious, how did you know about that?
I've been talking to your mom a bit about your journeys. Right. I just kind of wanted to know you. You guys did save me and didn't get a chance to really talk to you or thank you.
Do I believe him?
Roll insight.
That's a 19 on the dice.
Yeah, he seems inquisitive.
Okay. Yeah.
It seems harmless.
All right. So, sorry, what was the question?
So my question is like, if there's like ancient, I don't know, strongholdies, things like that are kind of hidden out there, and you guys live a really long time, what if there's like a couple Gorzales out there? Would they then take the throne back?
Well, that's why we have the Inquisition. No, jokes aside, that is an interesting idea. I don't think they would. Time has passed from the last member of House Gozael, and Thalcazir has truly inherited the throne and made it our own. It would have to be quite the stretch, and quite the dire straits for, I think, them to be accepted widely. Naturally, there could be some within the city that would support them, but I think for the most part, they would be given an important role, but otherwise not to become the ruling queen.
And
it would be curious, though. I'd be more so interested in how they survived, what they were doing there.
I'm just curious. And what's like if you like trace next in line, who would be like next in line for house-wise if Thalcazir fell? God's forbid.
Yes, what would be the next house in line?
I'm sorry, I can tell you that. I believe it would fall, depending on who you ask, to Tarabamil or sorry, one second. Tarabamil or Krakath Anavatham or Tarandin. It could be argued for either. It depends if you try and trace back who's closest to Gorzale or who's closest to Thalcazir.
Right. So it would either fall to one of those three, but it would first enter in a debate amongst the great houses, and then from amongst that debate they would come up with one of them, or else, have the entire Starlight civilization collapse into civil war between the three separate camps, but otherwise it would be decided from those three.
Hey, look, that's why you have the Inquisition.
You are very curious on this, though.
I mean, if I'm going to live down here, I do want to get to know the customs and the
I was going to say, I
culture.
I appreciate your willingness to learn.
Look, I have a duty to Tarandir, my own house.
Of course.
To make the best of this. I am here as a strengthening bind between our two great nations.
And I hope you're successful in that.
I mean, so am I. Is there,
how have most of the... Sorry?
No, by all means, you speak first. You're home.
I was going to ask, how have most people here treated you when you're particularly in court and around the place?
Honestly, pretty good. Most of them seem to like me. Lady Alandir doesn't seem to be too fond of me.
Lady Alandir? Oh, that's Chai 30. Well, her family are Inquisition loyalists, and not the largest fan of my family. So someone here invited by them from the surface to marry in. It's well, they will of course raise.
I'm not even perfectly sure I'm going to be married into your family. I think there's talk of it, but between you and me, just us here, is there anything any house I should beg your mother not to let me marry into?
Yes, Chiatheri. And perhaps also, which woman is... Irilin was from...
Irilin is Chiatheri.
He's Chiatheri, that's the one I was thinking of.
Reuventir is Prakathanavatham.
That's right, yeah. Maybe Prakathanavatham. They are... Well... They're a little bit odd, shall we say.
Okay. I hope it would be nice to go to your
otherwise, yes. Otherwise, it's all depending upon really who you marry at that time. I mean, I imagine that you may have some things in common with House Man Yazari. Great ship crafters and sailors.
Yeah,
quite a familiar territory.
I suppose it all comes down to what your mother thinks it's the best match.
Of course.
And then obviously everyone will have to accept the terms.
Everyone would have to accept, although unless situation changes on the surface, from the sounds of it, he seems eager for any high match like that.
I imagine it'll go to at least your house or one of your house's allies.
I imagine it will. But there will be a lot of debates over it. Marrying and... Well, actually, I'm curious. Have you been called an Azaria yet? Or is that something that...
It's in the process. They said your brother was explaining and your father was explaining that the fighting in the siege basically made me... As if I'd done a Karzanvir, I believe is the old Elvish term that you guys use.
Right.
It's the way they're trying to word it. I have offered to do a little bit of extra military service for... percentage-wise, not quite as long, as I do live like what a sixth,
fraction.
I guess, well, half. You guys live 3 times as long as me, so I wanted to offer to do at least 5 years in your military, but they kind of thought it was a bit of a waste of time.
Probably is.
Because I've been doing a couple, but I think I'm arguing your mother down to like a year. I want to serve beside the people,
That is good. The Karzanvir is part of the reason of what's made us strong.
Well, look, I've got experience fighting ghouls now, so.
That you do. Well, experience fighting a whole host of different undead creatures.
Exactly. I'm basically an expert now. Yeah.
Right. And also an expert in not rushing in.
Yeah, exactly. That's something that, yeah. But no, I want to spend about a year with, a year and 40 arcs and working with the troops. Is my request anyway. I don't know if
that'd be good.
There's kind of conditional talks. I've tried.
Well, I imagine who you will marry will change that, and then plans proceeding from there. And then if it's not in from my family, what they have in store for you, what plans? I mean, honestly, if you married into House Tarandin, they would probably welcome you to do that, or the Yerrickson family, whose name I can't remember.
The Yerrickson family is Prabhatha.
Prabhatha.
Not to be confused with Prakathanavatham.
Yeah. Honestly, if you marry to marry into either of those houses, then they would probably encourage you to do it in the first place.
Okay, that's good to know. But look, I think I'll be happy wherever I go.
Actually, Tarandir, it's a little bit too similar. That would be a bit of a tongue twister.
Yeah, I'm told I'm taking the house's name that I marry into, which is weird. It's a weird custom.
If you do marry into my family, it'd be strange to call you a Thalkazia. No offense, it would just be weird knowing your whole family.
Yeah, well, look, we're going to be kind of related in a sense.
Indeed.
But look, it's no, I'm trying to do my best. I don't want to put Everett through more than he has to be through already. Yeah.
How did you? I mean, Everett's changed quite a lot since you saw him last. Everything all right there when you left?
He's doing okay. The crown becomes him.
He's made it his own.
Yeah, different ways. We've always talked long and hard about it. We have a different approach, I think, to how. As I was next in line, obviously, I tried. Which is going to be a very interesting thing. If something happens to Everett and I'm married down below here, I'll be expected to go back up there.
I suppose it will. That will be odd.
So as long as I'm not married to one of your sisters and all of them die, and then you've got the royal couple as a king and queen of two nations, which would honestly power a couple.
Honestly, though, uniting Burton and Asian Alexandria together, quite the feat. Whoever your kids are, then they'll be very, they'll be benefiting a lot from that.
Yeah. Yeah, your brother told me it's customary to do like fucking 6 or 7. So.
From what count is that true? Or is
it
that just
is
like
genuinely customary to have about 5 kids for noble houses.
Okay. Yes, we do have our own customs up here.
But I suppose if you kind of really trying to link the houses, I can get it, I can understand it, and you know what? I can get behind it and get under whatever way I gotta do it. I don't mind.
Right. I had something else I was about to say, and I completely slipped my mind there. Fuck.
Sorry, was me talking about knocking up your sister getting your mind distracted?
Probably it was a little bit. That's a strange thought to. A strange thought in my mind. Yeah. That's surprisingly a lot of what I've come back to is disappointment that I'm not able to be married off anymore, and that plans have to be changed and arrangements.
Yeah,
and
I think it's from the whispers I've been hearing, it's seems to be a lot because the money's not much like in terms of like high nobility. Like there's a small alliance to be gained with Sathasa for the crown. Whereas,
a little bit of one.
Not to like toot my own horn, but I'm next in line for the Kingdom of Burton. So there's, I don't know, the noble houses see it as, there seems to be a couple of them that don't want to like, they don't want to leave your walls at all. Now I met some of them that like they want like, I mean I've been talking to what the I can't remember the great house that raises the Chitauri, I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
Have you ridden one yet, Chitauri?
I've fallen off one a lot.
It takes a while to get used to.
Yeah, look, I don't quite have my ceiling legs yet, so. But no, some people seem to be genuinely excited at the prospect. Once our circle is reconstructed, anyway.
Of course. I mean, I have offered my sister I suppose you could say a position within the archives of that of Sanra, so which she seemed tempted to accept. So if you were to marry Taldwin, then you would be close to Burton at least. For a while.
No, last night she came to my room and said if our marriage did come to pass, that she needs to go off with child, which I was.
She said that to me as well.
Yeah, look, it's
yeah, it's
as a prince I've been propositioned a few times. Yeah. That's an interesting way to go about it.
That is straight to the point, direct, and matter of fact. That's down one. Congratulations.
Look, I just hope she knows how to let her hair down a little bit.
That's not a trait my family has, outside of maybe my brother and my dad, but besides that, no, not really. I apologize.
That's alright.
Welcome.
Oh, God. I've been trying to learn a lot about your dying god, though. Fucking interesting stuff. Yeah, no, I never really got into the whole like divinity, ascended god, like shit up top, because it's just like wasn't needed.
Yeah,
I was kind of like a study is what is needed and nothing extra kind of student. But down here, it's like dying god is very much so needed.
Yes, yes. To survive here, you will need at least a passing knowledge.
But no, it's yeah, it's fucking interesting.
You yet?
I mean, I don't think he's going to be answering my prayers like he does yours, but it's.
Well, he might. Are those faithful enough?
I don't think I'm going to do Merkestilan and try and become the High Priestess. I did hear you guys just lost one.
In that case, well, we just lost one. If you try to go too far in that direction, you and I may start having an issue. But as long as you don't go around
trying to be the High Priestess,
then, well, not really. I said in that direction, meaning if you were to try and proclaim yourself to be the voice or whatever, then we would have a slight issue.
I don't think that's my shtick, but
no.
Honestly, it's not even just the Dying God. It's like the entire like old god thing. Like I went to Arvergard and they're pretty like don't give a fuck. There's a cool dragon.
I have heard. I met one of the well, Marius.
Great guy.
Connected.
Great guy. Spent a few years.
He was a wonderful man. Great man.
But no, yeah, and then I did a bit of time in Zarsan, and they also just don't give a fuck about gods.
No, not really.
I've been studying a little bit about like the Farwalker and like I mean like a yo-yo between Narcaneth and here. And
I will admit I don't really know what Zarsan strikes me as odd. There's nothing that they really believe in at all. I mean, at least Arvagard has the dragon that a lot of people revere to some aspect, maybe not as a god, but as something. Zarsan has nothing. It's quite.
I mean, they just have their own might, which like you can respect.
I suppose, but it's strange. Might here is connected to the Dying God in every way, but.
Well, no, I've been trying to read up, and I don't know, brimming with questions. I guess I'm trying to learn as much as I can. Right. There's like a lot of link to like the other side, and like. There's. Go talk to your mom. Your mom knows a lot. She
does.
I plague her
more
with
than
questions.
She might let on.
Oh, she is an enigma. That one. But she's nice. You're a nice mom. I never. Well, I knew mine for a little bit. Yeah.
I never asked too much about it.
She had a really difficult childbirth with Kazori, and she didn't make it.
Right. I'm sorry for that.
That's all right. I was like 5, 6, 7, maybe. Right. It was rough. It was.
I can imagine.
Everett took it the hardest. He idolized Mother. He had to like. I think it's probably why Everett's the only one of us that really actually practices the Blade Song, because, I mean, I was too young. I learned like the first few steps, but Everett's. God, he would have been like 11, maybe.
Right.
Because Everett's what, like 31, 32. Kazori's like 19, so he could be like 13. Like he'd learn most of the steps.
To have already been taught it by her.
Yeah, and I'm like what? No, I'm what 20. I'm 26, so yeah, it would have been 7, 6, 8. Anytime I count. It's Kazori's birthday. Please tell me I'm not the only one that can't remember the month my sibling was born in.
What are you talking about? I remember all of them.
I do not believe.
Definitely. Just don't ask me.
Kiana was kind of too young to understand. But look, Hizori probably, even though she was the youngest, she kind of took it the hardest. Right. Still does. She blames herself a lot. Viola was really good for her for that. It distracted her a lot. So when she got teen years, she went through this phase of just wanting to know who Mom was, and remember I also did.
Yeah.
But it was cool having your parents. Like, Brian.
It is cool. I don't really know what I would have done without them.
Your dad seems fucking cool. I will say that. Like,
he is. He does remind me a little bit of you.
He was fucking cool, but I don't know. He wasn't like as boisterous as your dad. He was a lot like your mom, actually.
Right, right. No, my dad is... King comes second.
Oh, yeah. Maybe not even.
Maybe third. Probably more, father first, warrior second, king third.
He's cool.
Taran, actually, no. Taran did
Maybe
third,
fourth. Maybe
king
fourth.
Yeah, fourth place. Yeah. He's cool, though. I think you will get along well with him.
Mm. It was very interesting. I know, I like it down here. I like it down here.
Good. How do you think Everett would find it? I'm curious. I had been meaning to invite him.
I think he would be sufficiently whelmed.
That's a polite way of putting it.
One thing I can say, you guys do not have a great swim team down here.
Have you tried swimming in Lake Earth?
I don't go without my trident, but yes, I do. I don't know if Everett... I think he had a speech just before I was told that he took out our grandfather's old trident with the blade on the end. The blade singing trident, which was a fucking cool artifact, first of all.
Look, it's very cool. I don't think I've seen or even heard of many tridents like that, actually usable ones, not just ceremonial pieces.
No, I was actually not for blade singing. I just kind of as is. So. But no, that's like the family style weapon. Even I use the trident.
Actually, I would have seen him. Is his trident, is his weapon of choice like actually just a fucking trident?
Saladin, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's fucking cool.
Like he's sword and board sometimes. He's trained with everything, but like his preference for war is a trident.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah. You know, like there's something about fighting with a big fork just makes you kind of feel cool.
I suppose. I mean, when I first came to Burton, I thought it was a little odd more than anything, but I've come to agree that it is kind of cool. Especially once you've seen someone blade singing with it, then it becomes...
I mean, I can't do that. I can do a few, like, parlor tricks at best. But I will beat Everett with the blown side of my trident until he cries. So, there's that.
I'm wondering...
But then Theo would kick my ass.
Did you spar with him upon your return? I mean,
Everett,
after all his training. Where do you think he's at?
The blade sing, when he started using the magic side of it, he's getting there. I don't know how he's gonna do in his trials though. He freezes.
So I want to go with him. I've put the offer out there, and so far he hasn't given a definite response on it yet, but hopefully we are able to accompany him.
I don't think everyone really gives much of a definite response on most things nowadays.
No, but I think his mind's made up, usually, in a lot of cases. I mean, especially after everything that's happened. Whilst he didn't initially for the longest time want to be king, he's certainly grown into it now.
Yeah, shortly before you guys did what you did last night, he had come to me and told me that he was thinking of abdicating, and that I would take the throne.
He did tell me that, right? As well. Yeah, he told me about that. Planning to run away with Theo.
I was kind of excited for that. Oh no, I always wished I was firstborn.
I can understand that. Don't worry, I can understand.
I mean, who doesn't want to sit on the big seat? Let's be honest.
Of course. Especially if you've been raised your entire life to see it, to idolize it, but then never to sit on it yourself. It is quite the...
How do you feel about that? Has there ever been a ruling king of your people, or is it always... Wait.
No. Never.
That's wild. It's so different.
It is quite different. I think if circumstances were different, perhaps I would have... Honestly, I would have maybe tried. But, no.
Wait. So if you wanted to try take the throne, would you have tried to, like, strictly hypothetical, like, coup, change your people, or would you have tried to become a girl?
I would have tried to change the people, probably.
That's fair.
That is an interesting thought, though. If that, I mean, look, it wouldn't have really increased my chances. I still am, well, last child, the fifth born of the family. Whichever way you look at it, I'm the bottom of the pile.
From the way Theo talks, you're the bottom. Full stop.
He would say that, wouldn't he?
He's a good guy.
He and Zamani got along slightly too well in some of their conversations.
I mean, who wouldn't? The offer's still up if you guys want to model for the painting. I still stand by my point. You guys would look good in oils. Paint or
Thank
just cooking.
I do appreciate that. However, you could potentially be my brother-in-law, which does change the matter quite significantly.
I mean, let's cross the tridents in front of the tree before we're family, you know?
He's such a shit talker.
I do have something for you, though, on that note.
Oh, what? Oils?
No. Well, you know, that might be a better wedding gift. Look, that would have been funnier. No,
it's not too late. No, I'm just joking. What did you have?
So it's part of Terendir is like part of the culture, part of like us, you know, sea farers and divers specifically, which you guys don't have a lot of down here.
No, you're welcome to start off a diving school, swimming school.
I'm not going to. It was very dangerous. However, there is beautiful coral and gems down in that lake. You know, the most beautiful things are often guarded by the most dangerous things.
Of course.
I would not recommend wearing these. It's normally a ceremonial thing done for... actually, I talk as if I have them on me, like I just store things up my ass and can pull them out of nowhere. Let's go to my room. Let's go.
Right. Hey, Hound, are you sure? This isn't just a whole elaborate thing, is it?
Well, there's oils in there too.
Yeah, I'll follow after him.
So he goes up and he goes into his room and you see he's got like, for what he talks like, his room is far more modest. It's like everything's perfect, like bed's corners are neatly tucked, boots are under the bed, like everything is. He just goes,
yep.
I know it's your home, but just boots off at the door, please.
Of course. I'm not an animal.
As he goes through, and you can see he has this like beautiful long desk that seems to be made of like cut driftwood.
Ooh. Okay. Okay.
I did bring it myself. It's my little workstation. As he kind of ushers you over, you see he's got like little like specks of sea glass, and you see these like beautiful circlets of these deep purples and greens with some of the similar bioluminescent, what would be moss but algae instead, as he picks them up, as he puts gloves on first because they're quite sharp, and he's still inlaying some sea glass into it. And he just kind of like eyes it over your head. We normally wear these for weddings in Burton. They're normally called the sea tide crowns. So I suppose the lake tide crown could be this. Normally it's like someone close to the couple would make them.
Right.
So sea glass, coral that's native, pearls or gems or whatever you find in the local seabed made. And I think it's beautiful in its own sense to show that Missionary Xandir is such beauty surrounded by such danger, just like these crowns will be for you.
Honestly, that's beautiful. Thank you. I didn't expect you to be quite so, well, artistic with all of this.
Look, if you had said, will Saladin touch me? Everyone would have said yes.
However, I think they would have meant it in a different way, but...
Look,
no, but that is appreciated, though. I'll take that.
No,
thank you.
they're modeled loosely after mom and dad's. I'm not the best at making them, but no, I think it's cool. I'm making some for your sister as well. It's so I bring the trident when I go to the lake. Because I am going to need to make quite the magnificent one for my own wedding, because it is expected. I also do need to make... Right. Between you and I, he kind of screwed the pooch announcing his marriage to Thea.
I mean, there'd be no great celebration there. Honestly, he's missing out.
No,
think of all the gifts he's missed out on.
Politically, my guy, let's be honest.
I know.
Like,
look,
as cool as this is for me, it should have been one of your sisters going to him. That would have been the smart choice.
That would have been.
Like, there's a little bit I can. Before I left, Kazori was extremely angry. The fact that me and her now married for duty, but him and Kiana, the eldest girl, the eldest boy, get to do it for their own purpose. So, some bad blood for Kazori right now.
It does make sense, though. I do feel sorry for her.
That's it.
I mean, at least you'll be free enough, probably, to come visit. Come see her.
I'm easy wherever I am. I don't mind.
Well, I know you're easy. Don't worry. The amount of offers you've already made today alone.
Look, reputation is earned.
Well, it's interesting seeing these crowns. It reminds me of, well, not really practiced anymore by anyone outside of Taladwin, but my family's history of crystal shaping.
Well, this isn't something that's even unique to like just the Tarantins. This is like a Burton tradition. Like, you know,
right?
Sometimes...
So everyone, is it just everyone goes out and does this, or just people who
get married? People who are like culturally from Burton. Like now, a lot of like the small folk and stuff. It's like driftwood and stuff that make like. It's not. It doesn't matter what you make it out of. Like, yeah, cool. They look fancy, if that's what you're looking for. But it's more the effort of you. Like, it's not really a crown, I suppose. It's like it's a circlet. It's actually, you know, you don't wear them everything, but it's like commonly in Burton. I know Everett does wear a wedding ring, but more people, especially the small folk who can't afford finer jewelry, use the driftwood crowns and stuff. The sea-tied crowns instead of wedding rings, instead of wedding bands.
Right.
You don't wear them, they keep them at home and they ceremonial on the mantle and such, but...
Right. That is a very, I like that tradition. That's good.
It's a little different. I thought I'd make it.
It is a little different. No, I appreciate it. I'll make sure to, well, wherever I find myself truly settling down in, I'll make sure to set it up there. Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
I'll make sure to have to give you something just as grand when your wedding day comes.
I'm not fussy. No, it's
perhaps
from the heart.
Trident.
I don't need a trident, first of all. This one's been with me quite some time.
Right, oils it is then.
Oils it is. And someone to slap them on, just, you know. A lick and swipe kind of deal.
Lick and swipe. But well, I'm sure Zamani would thank you for these crowns as well. But on behalf of both of us, thank you.
You'll get them when they're done. I'm trying to. I brought some sea glass from Burton. I was trying to get some stuff from Sathasa shipped, but that's extremely difficult.
Yes. It's
kind of.
Sathasa at the moment isn't exactly the best position.
I wanted to try and honor where you're from and where you met in one.
We will appreciate it, no matter what you can manage, but...
Well, look, unfortunately I couldn't weave my own father's bone into it, so, you know.
Well, I mean, look, you don't have to go quite that far.
No, the fact that it's from Burton isn't enough.
Right, it's from Burton is... enough. It's strange to think, actually, of how fond I've become of Burton, considering my... considering how I found myself there.
Honestly, it's strange to think how fond Everett's become of you, and he told me I was not expecting it. I had originally petitioned for you all to be hung.
And I think in your position, if well, the roles had been swapped around, I probably would have done the same.
I mean, it made more sense. Like, you gotta, like, benefit of the doubt. Like, I think you guys are doing great in the Odyssey.
But it was a risk. It was a very big risk to take.
You got a lot of slack.
I am thankful that Everett made that decision, but surprised he did at the same time.
Good thing he didn't abdicate. I would have just executed you on the spot.
Thank God for that.
You would have gone to Shattershore, and we would have rendered your soul from existence.
Well, I am very glad you did not do that.
I don't even know how that fucking thing works.
What is it?
Oh, we have this prison in Shattershore, so like the Executioner's Blade in Shattershore. It's a ritualistic killing that makes it so that no form of resurrection can bring you back. I suppose it's similar to the shattering of your dying god in like conception. We shatter the soul. That's called Shattershore.
Where did you find this Executioner's Blade?
I didn't need to study it.
Curious.
It was a very well kept secret, I believe, by the king. It's not something we really talked about. You could probably ask Everett about it. He'd probably have information on it. I don't know if Shattershore was found around the ability, or if we put the ability on Shattershore.
Right. No, I am just curious because it does share some similarities with the shattering.
I assume it's Jotun magic. Or Jotun magic blade.
It sounds like the type of abhorrent thing the Jotuns would create.
Fitting punishment for some people.
Depends for whom.
Depends for whom.
That is quite the extreme punishment.
Yeah, I think they're going to try and drag Valna there.
They've given up on her case?
I don't know.
I find... I'm just trying to remember. In character, we found out the story behind who she was.
You know that she's his half-sister. He doesn't know. Or she claims to be a bastard.
Yeah. From what Calasindir knows, does he think that's probably something worthwhile ever bringing up? Like, does he think the family would actually really take notice of that?
Saladin, you're not sure. You might have reason to talk about it to Everett.
Everett? Yeah. The Saladin probably wouldn't care.
Oh.
Well, hopefully that finally stops her.
Oh, look. Assassins that keep coming back are difficult to deal with.
They are difficult to deal with, although, by all accounts, her, whatever it was, vendetta was targeted against Anathor.
Yeah.
Although, considering, everything else, she made us very continue it against the rest of the royal family until she managed to succeed in at least killing one of you.
How bad could it be? Very, very bad.
Very, very bad. As someone who was used as an assassin before, very bad.
You were a very bad assassin. That is true.
I was terrible. I'm shocked every day, but also very happy that he decided to make me an assassin.
Look, true. Also, though, you do have probably 100% success ratio.
True. That is very true. And so hopefully I do nothing to change that.
Don't fail any assassinations, please. Perhaps.
I mean, look, hopefully the only person that I'll be assassinating from now on will be Samael, so hopefully it stays 100%.
Yeah, good luck with that. Hard.
It is the daunting task, isn't it?
Look.
You're welcome to come if you want.
Come as I please, but I'm not fighting that fucker.
That's understandable. I think anyone intelligent would take that.
Maybe if you bring a fucking army, but even then. He's gonna fucking become a god. Feel it in my bones.
You're afraid of what will happen?
I'm more afraid of what happens if he doesn't.
What do you mean?
Gods get pulled beyond.
Hmm. Right.
I mean, what if he doesn't?
If he doesn't, if he manages to achieve or claim similar powers of godhood without actually becoming a god, then the world will weep. And let's hope that we can stop him, even after that point. That being said, if I do manage to succeed in returning the dying god, then that won't be an issue.
Hey, look, contingencies. It's nice to have.
Contingencies. But I should leave you for now. I've taken up quite a bit of your time out of the day.
Yeah, actually, look, we are getting late. Yeah, no worries. I will see you around, my dude. Be well.
See you around, my dude.
Yeah, Saladin doesn't give a fuck.
He's the casualist motherfucker. Best of luck with your marriage proposals.
I was going to say best of luck with your sister. I was like, I'll need it.
Oh god, no. That I am leaving up to fate. Alison will leave him there. Make sure to... What was the... Did it actually show the... Like, in terms of the crowns that he was making, what was, like, the completion progress on them?
There, look. Maybe, like, one's quite close to being done. The other is, like the a little bit further away. They look beautiful, but
yeah,
they are, like, equal parts dangerous. Like, it looks like putting them on your head would probably hurt. Like, it's the coral of Earth is dangerous. But that's kind of his point. It's to show the beauty and danger of your home.
Yeah. Yeah.
The one that has the least work is probably cool. Zamani's side, because he's trying to get something from Sathasa to make it out of.
Right. Yeah. But then, obviously, you know, Sith is not exactly the easiest place to get things from at the moment.
But quite the cool tradition of Burton that you'd find out today.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so Calicinda would leave and probably head off from there. Do I know if there's anything that is planned that, like, Zilzan has planned for our final few days, or if it's just very much...
It is up to you, to whatever you want to
do. Cool. Calicinda is going to try and go back to one of his old habits, which is trying to gain some insights to just listen in around court, like the different nobles and courtiers, people speaking, to try and just listen in, mingle, and try to just, like, around the place in the palace, try to hear any bits of information that he can, particularly involving himself or Zamani or any of the other great houses in terms of ongoing plans and stuff like that. Anything that could be relevant and useful.
Okay, this will be a hell of a lot more difficult to blend into the crowd and try and figure out stuff now.
Point that I was going to say there. What are the anti-magic effects here?
Pretty strong.
Pretty strong. So if he wants to try and disguise himself through magic, that wouldn't work.
You know some people that maybe you could ask for help to disable the effects, like Renan might be able to disable the effects. But
right, but it would have to be for a good reason, or else he'd be like, no. Like, sorry, I'm not doing that unless you have, like, a really fucking good reason.
He's also busy preparing to try and assassinate the leaders of the Inquisition for you, so maybe prioritize your jobs.
There's better things to spend his time with. Okay. Look, I would say in that case, like, it'd be less just trying to blend in, more just talking and just, like, involved in groups, trying just to spend some time around those type of crowds.
Okay, let's make it a persuasion check.
Just because it's also just, like, before he goes to speak again to any people from the great houses, just to also get a bit more information, considering he hasn't been there for a while. Thumb of knowledge.
It is. I got chocolate. My wife brought me home a chocolate bar, and
okay, that's a 19 all up.
19. Okay, so you begin weaving your way in and around the courts. Most of the noble houses are around at this stage. You're trying to figure out, figure out the general like workings and intricacies of like what's happening next. Like, what is the Starless's next move? Seems to be the agenda on what will be happening. Your mother is expertly dancing her way around, basically saying the Inquisition is being restructured. Talking a lot about your sister's wedding, and talking to people as you go around. The general vibe for like how the common sort of conception right. Ooh, I rolled really, really hot. I would say if we were to break Calasindir and Zamani into like an approval rating right now, they have like a 53% approval rating.
Okay. That's not a negative. That's good. That's good.
There's still a lot of people that are scoring, and a lot of it also comes from the fact that like, and a lot of complaints. Should have brought here some of the Sound of Power for Star Wars game. As I was saying, the general consensus of the court is the Thalcalzirs went from 4 possible marriage candidates to 0 in a few months.
Yeah.
Which is, and 2 of them are now being sent to not starless houses.
Yes.
So that the general approval rating for Thalcalzir used to sit quite close to like a maybe 70%, 80%. It's dropped to about a 50%. A lot of noble houses right now are really annoyed because Thalcalzir has scoffed tradition and is making strong allies, which is, you know, some people are happy with. But Bar, Tarandin, Prabha Atha, and Taravamil, no one's really. You can't really point out to anyone and be like, that's a Thalcalzir ally.
Yeah.
Which is an issue right now. Hopefully Ilarada should sway towards with your sister's marriage, but the general consensus is like, specifically rumor that's probably been purposely already spread is that Taldwin is being betrothed to the half-elf from Burton, and she is with child. Like, they're already starting to say she's with child, and there's rumors already going around that a year for Diam is going to be betrothed because they have a child of similar age.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like there's like the certain benefit. Like, you feel the reason why someone approached you and said half elves are smart because you'll be able to have heirs ready soon is a genuine thing in court. People are like, if they don't start, like, there could be a harsh sway in the Inquisition's favor if Thalcalzir does not produce heirs. Right.
Which is why
your mother's now planning on cutting the Inquisition strong. And
yeah, that's the thing, that won't be an issue for much longer. But in the eyes of the Great Houses, regardless of the Inquisition, heirs will need to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. What do I get from House Ilarada in terms of what I pick up about them from all this?
So they kind of walk around with an air of like a disconnect from Asian Alexander. They live on the fringes of the city towards where the Wode's roots start making their way into the world below. Lady Aramal is extremely head in the cloud, kind of enigmatic, like very, very beautiful woman, but she's always believed that the dying god has some connection to the roots of the Wode. Like that could somehow finance her. Somewhat believes heretical house because of their like they kind of have their fingers in druidism a little bit. But no one dares move against, and like accusing the matriarch of a noble house of heresy is a hard thing because
like you need proof.
Each house has basically a small army.
Yeah, and you need like solid fucking evidence. If you're gonna do that,
but also House Illa Arada is also quite close with Valu Andari, and as well as being close with Valu Andari, House Illa Arada is also quite close with Kaval Konduma, so the Qatari are nurtured in the roots of the woad.
Right, that makes sense. And Valu Andari, which one are they again?
Valu Andari is a more of an introspective, like, historian, not just associated with any specific area. They're quite neutral. They're the shivering silver moon reflected on a tranquil lake. Colors are silver and blue.
Okay.
Lady Kinevili.
Okay.
It was actually the house so you were meant to get one of your strong wedding proposals was meant to be to Valu Andari.
Right.
Which means Valu Andari is a little bit against.
I want to try and speak with him.
Okay. So Kinevili is extraordinary in court. She is serene and introspective. She is known for leading her house with grace and intuition. You've seen her once or twice from your long, fanciful dinner, and she does look at you as you approach, and she goes, Calacindia, my prince, I did not expect to see you at court again after the dinner.
I thought to try and make as many appearances here as I could, considering the short span of time I'll be here and the very much field schedule that I have. But I'll do you all a great disservice if I was only to make one appearance.
There is gigglings of the matriarch saying it's like when you were a boy following your sisters around. It's very rare we do see a boy in these halls during.
That is something that I've been readily aware of for a while now. Quite the oddity.
You were never one to play with the swords.
No, God, no. That was never my style.
Your friend from the surface, though, is quite showing up often. That young Saladin. He is. It is his custom that the men up there are usually in the courts. Which is interesting.
Yes. A very different approach they take on the surface in regards to many things, let alone politics and courts, but much more common. His brother sits as king, after all, which is quite the departure from our traditions.
So what can I do
Have you had...
my boy?
Yeah. I did also want to, first of all, extend my apologies. I know that you are one of the strongest houses that I was more than likely going to be married into.
I think you would have enjoyed our home, but just as we were, so was Manyazi and Kaval Konduma strong suitors for you. I do have daughters your age that are quite lovely, that I think you could have gotten on well with. Ones within the Inquisition and ones within Narcaneth who have similar interests with the dying god, but not quite as... Well, I suppose there's no one quite as zealous as you.
That would be hard to beat. You said that this house, like, Valu Andari, they're very much like historians, scholars, like that type of...
Yeah, so they're not associated with Narcaneth. They're not... They would be like... Right. Of every house, they own, like, their entire castle, like, their mansion is like a fucking private museum of artifacts.
However, I did want to try and make it up to you somewhat. I am aware that it is a very large slight that I may have caused against you, but I wanted to make an offer that, at the very least, could breach some of that gap.
I'm listening.
I have become aware and knowledgeable of several starless, well, star elven ruins on the surface, places that have remained largely untouched for several generations and which have, well, a veritable trove of artifacts and relics of a bygone era of our past.
How interesting.
There's one in particular, close to the town of Irisvere and Burton, an old temple that hopefully, well, I do intend within a perhaps a few months to see to it fully secured and to be investigating the interior of it properly, securing what relics of our ancestors I can find, and to record the history that we find there. I wanted to extend an offer to you and your house to take part in this. I am aware of your keen interest, as that has also been a passion of my own.
It's very interesting. We don't generally move to the surface, but times are changing. I shall, if the offer is true, I shall dispatch a group of Valuandari law seekers to your keep on the surface to help you with this.
Wonderful.
I do quite think. Still no. I know you are off the table. You do so such signage of being a good Valuandari. I think you would have made a good one.
Well, between you and me, I think I would have preferred Valuandari than any of the other houses to be a part of.
I'm sure you say that to all the great noble houses.
I say it to them all, but I truly mean it this time. A lot of your house's interests do correspond truly with my own. I am, well, I suppose before I was a zealot towards the dying god, I was a scholar of history, of our history and of our past.
Yeah. You at least return with such hope. Otherwise, you would have returned to much bloodshed, I imagine. People calling for
absolutely.
Heresy would have been used, I imagine.
Oh, without a doubt. And I doubt even my mother would have been able to stop it from happening.
No. Thalkazi's public image has certainly taken a blow these past few months.
Indeed. But we will return from it. Small setbacks, but not ones that are reversible.
To your good health, then, and Calasente.
And to yours. For what it's worth, send it, in terms of your law seekers, my steward on the surface is Vocatil. What family is Vocatil from?
Vocatil Tarandin.
She's Tarandin. Vocatil Tarandin. She will see to them up there. Any needs or requests they have.
All right. They are a small group of mages, but they are quite proficient at ruins, so to speak.
Right.
I've heard your Inquisition troops and your Starless troops on the surface have been quite strong and done quite well.
They have. They've, well, from what I've heard, they've been quite impressive for a lot of the local garrisons, a lot of the local soldiers up there.
I believe I had talked a little bit to House Prabha Arthur, and Lady Amara said she recommended a General Astradana for the journey.
That is correct. General Astradana has been quite the asset.
She has done well for a lowborn.
She's done exceedingly well. In fact, she's been, well, chosen somewhat to lead more of an elite group up there on the surface, ranging further afield.
Perhaps if this Astradana does well under your watch. She is of low-born status, but she has risen well through the military. If she could prove herself in such a way, we might find ourselves somewhat perhaps bound. I do have a son who I would rather not marry to a noble house, so if I could get him a bride of good repute and good reputation.
Right.
This Astradana, she has worked towards, and with our law seekers, perhaps they could still yet be chance for us to mend some bridges.
Absolutely. I had intended for her to lead the expedition, at least the military side of it, into Erisvia, so a good chance for your law seekers to get a judge of her character.
she's being quite the decorated commander, being the first military commander to have a successful expedition to the surface. I'm sure Prabhatha is also trying to find perhaps a good marrying her into one of the families as a thing. But remember, Prabhatha is already a friend of your family.
Precisely. And I would very much like to see Valuandari another friend.
Valuandari has preached neutrality for such a long time. It will be a strong order to try and shift our sway, but we have been shifted the wrong way the past few months. It would behoove Thalkazir to, as you are, beginning make amends. Not just to us, but to many. It is lucky that my brother is married to Lady Aramal of Ila Arada. So, if your sister's betrothal does go through, by proxy we have a bit more association. There's a strong decision of your mother to start trying to intertwine the neutral houses into your family. I'm not sure how your brother's proposed betrothal to Prabhatha will work. I myself would have preferred a Kaval Konduma if I was your mother, or even a year Hridayam. But perhaps the offers were rescinded.
Well, my brother's skill with the bow immediately invalidates any offers for Maria Hridayam.
I had heard that.
But I trust my mother has her plans. She has...
Our queen is the best.
Many of them. That she is. But I very much hope, at least, we can continue making amends towards your family.
Would be very nice. Perhaps when you have found these items from Erosphere, I would very much so enjoy to give you a tour of our private museum in the Viluandari hold.
Now that I would be very much delighted to take part in. I've, for a long time, wanted to, but never quite had the, well, you do keep it quite secret and safe.
We are not quite as secret as a Narkina. We do not care so much for the stuffy texts. We care for the culture we try to bring with us. Do our due diligence not to forget.
Of course. Of course. I'm trying to remember, actually, Des. From Erosphere, Calasindia took some of the tapestries.
You did, yes. And swords.
And swords. I put them in the portable hole, don't I?
Yes.
Didn't I? Oh, okay, perfect. Calasindia is going to... I imagine, like, there's no restrictions. Like, it wouldn't be seen as, like... No. Calasindia is going to open up the portable hole and just... Not all of them, but just, like, a select few. Some of them more, like, well-kept and, like, ones in better, like, condition. Of just some, like, the blades and some of the, like, the artwork and stuff like that. Just a small sample.
She calls over a guard in the Viluandari symbols, as all of them do have their personal guards with them. Gives them. Right, please take them. These are beautiful. I will add them to our collection. They're ancient. And you look around, and there is a lot of jealous eyes on you right now. Perhaps not the best thing to do in public, but
okay.
Good for Viluandari. For everyone else, maybe not so good.
Good for Viluandari, considering they were a scorned house, which is also the fact that considering that Calasindia was more than likely going to be married into them, probably more scorned than others.
Yeah. I will mark on your sheet that I've given you of the 3 top houses you were going to be married to, if you'd like.
Yeah. Yes, that would be very helpful, because they're the ones I want to try and mainly go to.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's Prakathanavatham, Manyazi, and Vilu and Dari were probably some of the strongest candidates.
Right.
Actually, probably Theory, Kalam as well. Top 4. I can probably give you. But, I just put brackets scorned beside their names.
Okay. That's one of them ticked off at least in terms of improved. Okay, let me look at the rest. So Ilarada, them.
I'm highlighting it as well just to try and make it more
perfect.
Bindable.
Yeah.
There you go.
And Ilarada is who's my sister, right?
Ilarada is who your sister's marrying. Do you want me to mark that on there as well?
No, that's alright. It's alright. Yeah. And if you want, you enjoy it anyway. What's it marked down?
I'm also going to highlight in green which houses your family is getting betrothed to so far.
Yes. Perfect. Just so I know, like, who I should probably speak to with this.
So, there you are. Green highlight is who your siblings are being betrothed to. And yellow highlight is scorned.
Okay. What do I know about Rathiri Kalam?
So, Rathiri Kalam. So, she is the woman who gave you the wedding present of the books you checked out most from your studies in Narcaneth. She is part of the Evening Tide, but not the Evening Tide Loyalist family, because the Evening Tide is like a subsect of the university that is much more private and elitist. She's like much more society. She's more like everyone should have. She's like equal access to education. Very socialist.
Okay.
That family's scorned, but not so much negative. They're annoyed. They definitely are annoyed though.
Yeah, annoyed but not scorned. Whereas Vilu and Diary would have been scorned, leaning towards negative potentially, but uncertain.
Yes.
Okay. Now Man Yanzari, they were the ones who gave us.
Man Yanzari are giving you their son for us to captain your ship. So you've already kind of done well to get them.
Yeah. Now, so it's really Prakath and Avatham. What do I know about? Obviously, besides their whole Evening Tide Tower, their connections there, do I know anything else about what the type of things that they are involved in, what they see as being
strong mages? Worthwhile? They try and raise. They raise the battle mages for the country. Riventir is part of them.
Right. Okay.
So you could try and leverage that.
Yeah. Okay. Trying to think. Yeah, okay. I will try and find Lady Virilith.
Absolutely. You find the purples and blues of Prakath and Avatham.
Lady Virilith?
Prince Calasindia. It is a pleasure to see you at court again.
Thank you. A pleasure to be here with all of you once again. It's been far too long since I've stood here.
So you're not expected here too often, so your attendance has not been your missed attendance has not gone noticed, so to speak.
Yes, I suppose it would be strange if I was here too often, considering my current occupying mission. But I did wish to offer my apologies. I know that you were one of the house's most likely in regards to my marriage.
Well, look, these things happen, don't they? You you'd shown very good access within the Inquisition, and specifically within Narcaneth, you did do great things. I thought you would have done well amongst us.
I'm sure I would have. I've always appreciated your family's magical, well, not just magical talents, but a knowledge of the arcane. Somewhat jealous, in some regards.
We have, Also, I would say one thing that Prakath and Avatham does more than anyone, with their magics, they are also a big influence on the magical construction. I know I said, what did I say? The, a year Herdayam has the, like the mines, so to speak. But like when it comes to actual just like needing to magic a building in place, that falls on Prakath and Avatham.
Right. Okay. How is Ruventia related? Is he her son, or is he just like a distant?
He would be her. So she is like
a nephew.
Yeah, it'd be one of her younger sisters.
Right.
Yes. He'd be part of mainline family, but
yeah,
like,
but not.
When I was not like
not Lady Virul's children.
No.
Yeah.
But maybe she would be his aunt.
Yeah. I did wish to well, I suppose thank you for your nephew, Ruventia. He has been most invaluable on the surface. Truly a great asset there. I dare say he's one of the most capable mages that I've come across during my time.
He studied under Rella and Shiatheri. He should want to be.
Anyone that studies under him should definitely want to be.
Yes, it was certainly worth the electrum.
But I can safely say after seeing him operate both, not just in combat, but around the place, his various talents, he is, I think at least, maybe someone to keep an eye on for the future, with a bit more of experience.
I hear you have given him over as a court mage to the king in Burton. That's Saladin's brother.
He is assisting me in the court there. Eyes and ears as well, where I cannot be.
Yes. Very watchful, I assure you.
He is. He is but one person, but he seems to take in far more than that.
He has told us much in our regular conversations. He enjoys his time there, I'm told, from his mother.
I'm glad to hear it. I have tried to give him opportunities as they arise. Also placing him in charge of research into Sapperstone that they have on the surface.
Yes, we have enjoyed learning of that.
Quite the interesting resource. I must admit, I do hope to, down the line at least, to leverage access to it from our connection with Burton.
I cannot fault your mother, our queen, for considering the betrothal to Saladin. Burton as a kingdom on the surface does seem to be a natural choice, and a strong kingdom at that.
Strong, but not too strong. Not headstrong enough that it would consider itself above us.
No, and their king is young and can be molded by root, yeah.
Precisely. Willing to learn and to listen where it is important.
It does seem that the Sapperstone, as we put it, is not completely different to the magics that Illa Arada uses to power the bioluminescent moss. It's still something that absorbs magic to control the... Although the moss is much more simple in function with the output of just the glow and luminosity. But one must think perhaps they're nurtured from the same soil.
Perhaps they are. I mean, it is an interesting course of research to take. If there are similarities there, it could very much help in our research into Sapperstone. considering the familiarity we have with the bioluminescent moss and its different varieties.
It's interesting. I don't feign to know much about the more natural things that Ella rather just pursue.
Of course. I will tell you one thing that has come to my attention on the surface that is quite of interest. As opposed to Sapperstone, which absorbs magic, I have become aware and have handled brief encounters with a substance that has, in some cases, been labeled Seeperstone. It
that is clever.
Enhances. It enhances magic, as it were, and it enables greater works of enchantment and construction of magical items.
That's very interesting. I had heard a little from Ruventier, admittedly. He does report back to us. We are his family. You understand these things.
Of course. I would expect nothing less.
Exactly. You said you'd made an investment in such an artifact, and it's very interesting. I will give you that. It's a smart investment. It is the sort of intellect that we, as Prakarth Nanavatham, saw so keen in you.
Thank you.
These decisions are good.
I must say it has been part of my interest on the surface to learn of different forms of magic, different ways of utilizing it where it may be. Our knowledge is great, but there is always things that are done differently or different styles that are practiced that are worthwhile to, at the very least, put on record.
It's always good to know all of your options. We do agree on that.
Of course, of course. And for what it's worth, I do hope Ruventier in time will become a bit more acquainted with both the properties of Sapperstone and Seeperstone and how they can be used in arcane uses of them, and in time pass that knowledge on to you, being the foremost bearers of the arcane in Alexandria.
He's enjoying his time going over the notes of his predecessor in bed. I am told he was lost in the siege of the Emperor of Ghouls.
He was.
For the better for us, I suppose.
If you... He dealt a blow to the Emperor, which is not much that many people can say.
That is not something many can say. I shall give you that. I'm told the explosion was quite impressive. But he paves way for our Ruventier to figure out instead, so... I shan't think I'd mourn the loss, but I do send thanks to the Dying God for putting such a man in our path to lead the way for us to learn of these things.
I do as well. I am curious, though, do you know of anything that Ruventier has mentioned that would ease his time on the surface? Perhaps anything that I can send to him from here that would make his time a bit more pleasant, or make his research a bit more easier to conduct?
Ruventier was always a simple boy. He never really said want for much, so I think not. He's not made requests or anything of the like that should concern us.
That is good to hear.
He does seem happy under your tutelage, I suppose one may call it. I don't know if that's quite the correct term. Or...
I think he is quite beyond tutelage from most people at the stage he is at. Always more to learn, but like I said, he has grown to be very capable.
He's grown to be very capable. If Chaya had not snapped up Aurelian first, I would have very much liked to see what we could have done with someone with such power.
It would have been interesting.
I'm told you're quite good friends with him.
I am. I count him amongst my best.
You must be quite happy for his betrothal.
I am. They will do wonderful things together, I'm sure. Both of them within the Inquisition.
Yes, he is also appointed recently head of the Arcane in the Inquisition. I imagine he'll be working quite closely with us with some projects.
Well, hopefully he gets along well with your house and you're able to have quite the fruitful relationship.
Perhaps when he and your sister have children, you could put a good word in for your mother to consider Prakarth and Avatham. It would be a logical pairing. I think a child of such magical pairing would prove quite the, even for experiment's sake, would prove a strong lineage of magic in them.
I will put a word in with her. That is a good point that you raise. It is undoubtable that, well, a child of theirs would be quite the arcane prodigy, regardless.
Mm.
What a better house to see them with than...
I must admit, I should have liked to learn... Well, theoretically, I would have paired him with Taldwin instead.
But perhaps I think that would have been too much potential in one relationship.
Perhaps. 'Tis a shame your family's art has gone unused so much.
It has. Perhaps. Well, perhaps.
Had you ever considered studying it yourself?
I have. During my time in Narkanath, before I turned to my current path, that was something I had considered pursuing, seeing if I could revitalize it, bring it back. Maybe down the line, once I'm finished with my duty.
Yes, it was I believe there was a, well, not your mother's sister, Solara Thalkazir. She was known to be quite the expert.
How much would Calacinder know about?
She was dead long before your time. Right, it was your mother's sister.
Yeah.
Like, and your mother, but you remember as well, your mother's
young.
Your mother's mother also died quite young. There was a big thing that happened. You're not quite sure. You shouldn't talk about too much. You're not sure of Solara. You do know that's Kaelweir's offshoot family?
Right. Okay.
But she was known to be able to summon crystal from intention alone and send it hurtling at quite the phenomenal speeds.
That is something worthwhile looking into, perhaps. Maybe if I have a bit more time on my hands, I'll look into it sooner than I thought.
Yes. I've read good tale of her Kazun Via, where she had found herself trapped in a cavern with many ghouls, and luckily there was crystal in the cavern, and she managed to break off. Well, the story says 1,000 shards and pierce the brains of each dark ghoul around her, but stories are always fanciful. I imagine them far more reasonable in person. But the story sounds nice and neat.
It does have a good sound to it. Far more impressive than, well, I suppose even 100, 1,000. But, no, I must admit, I haven't read too much into the stories about her. Perhaps that is something I should look into. They are available at the Narkanath, are they?
I believe those specific records should lie within... well, if you're looking for the Kazun Via reports, they'll be within Prabha Arthur's hold. If you're looking for more just information on your family's learning, or your family's ancestral ability, Narkanath should have access.
Right. Maybe, if I have a bit more time on my hands here, then I'll start that research. It's good to have... I like to think it's good to have multiple projects ongoing at the same time. Keep your mind busy.
Yes, you must always think of something you will do when you are no longer empowered by the shards when our dying god has returned. What would you be then?
Happy. Content.
Happiness. Something we have very so rarely afforded the luxury of. I'm told you're meant to try and kill one of the Ascended Saints.
That I am.
But very much so, if I were you, try and look into magics, that would help me with that.
That is definitely something worthwhile pursuing. Something I have tried to look at. Hence, the research into Sapperstone. In some way. See if it can be enhanced. But perhaps looking back at my own family's traditions is a bit more fitting.
Perhaps these are just ramblings of an old mage. Do not mind me. I do not mean to try and sway your mind.
No, by all means. It's very interesting. And I mean that honestly. Always much to be learned from speaking with you.
I do think you have. And I mean this from a place of sincerity that one finds very rarely at court. I do believe, regardless of the ritual you partook in, you did show good potential to be great. Perhaps not as great as Arellen, but
no.
You had potential to be great, of your own accord. Greater now because of the dying god blessing, of course. But you did have the potential.
Well, as you said, once he has returned, I shall need to think of what I do with myself then. And I think at least gaining access to some of the Eveningtide Tower could be a worthwhile pursuit. Learning of more arcane things of my own ability.
Certainly hope so. I would also like to remind you, if an offer does get offered for you, do not squander it like your sister did.
I will keep that in mind. Thank you. I was both shocked and slightly disappointed by that. Although I can't be too disappointed when it was to try and save my life, but...
You were also disappointed. Yes, so be.
But I shall not. Anyway, I've probably taken up far too much of your time, but I do thank you for it.
That's all right. I shall allow it to run this time. It was a good conversation for what it was.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Gives you a nod and you walk away.
I walk away.
You're not sure from the kind of conversation if that repaired anything or did anything, but what's done is you're not sure if
what's
you just
done is done.
You stayed level, but that's better to just talking somewhat.
I mean, look, at the very least, Calcinder approaching and talking is better.
Yeah. That's better than ignoring them.
Yeah, and then also acknowledging Ruventir. Who to turn to next? Actually, no, one thing before I forget, and this is something I completely slipped my mind. And this completely slipped my mind last session, is that anytime during this session, to see Calacindia's dad.
Again?
To see him again. But this is something unrelated, but something I was meaning to do last time. It just slipped my mind with everything else going on, but to try and find him again.
Later in the evening, you find your father kind of wandering around still. More just like, you see he's walking around with Zelly, kind of bringing her through the various nooks and crannies. But you do find him.
Or even like before Calacindia went to court, because he probably may not.
Okay, well, so this is in the morning, as you kind of caught him early in his morning routine.
Father? Oh, Zelly, how are you?
Carl?
We're entertaining each other.
Yeah, look, that's we'll call it that.
Right. This did slip my mind yesterday with everything else that was going on, but I did recover this and mean to return it. Because Calacindia still has Irresilix damage blade.
Yes. The glaive.
And Calacindia will get that out. Get out of the portable hole. This was Irresilix. damaged and not quite in the same shape, but well, I was going to keep it and try and have it restored, but I didn't think of anyone else better to hold on to it than you.
There's a lot of history in this.
There is.
You know, this was... Before this was Era Zilix. This was actually... Well, the blade part of it anyway, not the haft. It was a chip of a weapon that the Dying God used. It's what helped Irazilic make his pact like you did. He made his pact through this blade.
Right. Interesting.
That's where he had gotten his holy blade from. He takes it and he looks at it. Seems so small now. So, I didn't know if I'd ever see this again. I still remember the story he told me of how he found it.
What was it?
So it's going way, way back. Irazilic was one of the first few, under similar rituals to you, that he swore an oath. You kind of did it different, but he swore an oath, becoming one of the first few paladins of our age to the Dying God. And it was shortly after his Karzunvir. He was training still, going out into the world below. And I had just come to the middle-ish of my Karzunvir, and I got assigned to squire him due to my noble house. And he found a mission. Well, not found a mission, given a mission in his own mind, similar to you. You know, tracing things. And we went deep into the root forest, past Ilaroda's holds, deeper than we think any had gone before. And it was there. It was a little bit bigger. It had to be filed down to fit a blade. But it was just this, in the middle of this forest of tangled roots and death and destruction, all these spiders and the like trying to kill us. A glade, just a small little pond. And it's just sticking up out of the top of it like fucking hair that refuses to sit down. And he knew the second he laid his eyes on it, he knew what it was. And he just threw himself into the water. And he took it. And just like that, the water drained with it. Drained through the crack that it had cut into. And that's when everything started to change for him. That's when everything got so much more intense. And that's when he got the vision of Inishale, and well, I wasn't able to go. I was still in my Karzunvir, and he went off and came back. We reunited, and he was different. But not different bad.
I understand.
Not different good, just different. He had the first stars in his eyes, and that was a big thing for us. You're a star elf now, that's so much more like, we've got Tranan has stars in his eyes now, you have stars in your eyes, and but Irazilic was the first. It truly was the first. And we did a few more jobs. I finished my time as squire. And that's when the Inquisition took the shard. So this blade, he fought and cut his way out of there. Without me.
Quite the history to it.
To this day, I still refuse to use a glaive. Just because of how good he was with it. Just because of this fucking piece of metal. I just refused. I was like, great sword, long sword, short sword, rapier, hammer, axe, anything. Just don't give me a glaive. I'm just gonna compare.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
compare.
Your
Trust me, I
cards
saw him fight with it. It was.
It's a beauty to behold. He was.
It was.
He didn't blade sing. But there was never a better person who danced with a blade than he did.
Mm-hmm.
You should have seen him in his prime.
I wish I could have.
You will. When everything's said and done,
I will.
We're up there among the stars. I'd very much so like for the three of us to spar.
I get him to show me.
I don't know if I can take
Did you
this.
I thought it was. Well, I should at the very least give you the offer of it. You are the closest out of anyone else to it.
I don't think I am. I think you are. It's not. It was of Erozilic, but it is not of Erozilic. It is of the dying god. That means it's closest to you. I can take it and I can get it restored for you, but this is a weapon for a prophet. This is not a weapon for a king.
Then I shall take it.
Well,
I shall carry it with me with pride.
So I can get it. I can get it refixed for you. I know the same people who initially turned it into the glaive.
Right.
It'll be a while. They're old. Fuck, we're all old
of
now.
Course. Everyone's getting on. But I would very much appreciate that.
No. I think your uncle just found probably the best wedding gift he could for you. Takes it and he wraps it back up.
Thank you.
All right. There's just this
Zelly
look of awe.
Zelly's there just like watching, like, what's going on? What's this glaive?
Yeah, she doesn't quite get it, but she's just mostly like,
yeah.
I don't know. You just feel like whenever Amrathan speaks, Zelly kind of just falls into his words.
Aww. I love it.
Well, father takes it.
Because that was something I was meant to do.
Time-wise, we're kind of at the point-ish.
We are kind of at the point.
Is there anything else you pressing that you wanted to do?
Nothing else pressing. I was just going to go around talk, which we can just say that Calcinder did. Like, obviously not making any great steps, but did. And other than that, go to the Narcan Earth to try and just take some books out if he could. Get as much research done as he can.
So
yeah, we can discuss it
towards the end of this. Your mind alerts towards the end as a message comes to you from Morbus. The situation is now developing at Zathasa. There is a bit of unrest. Your old friend Screw is really raising his head. We need your help.
Say screwing on there.
And that is where we're going to end. Thank you so much for everyone. We had a bunch of mini sessions this week. We'll probably be back with more D&D Academy next week rather than all the mini sessions. But this was a blast. I've had so much fun in the Courts of the World Below, and I will miss them. But other than that,
I'm going to miss the World Below. I'm going to miss the World Below. I wish I could stay here.
Other than that, we're going to pop off. Thanks so much for hanging out. We'll see you next time. Bye.
See you guys.